Good evening, if you can stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City attorney will be a few minutes late along with Kendra, so we'll start without them, but they will be showing up. So moving on, we'll take a look at the agenda. Need a motion to approve the agenda unless we have any type of amendments to make.
I will make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. Moving on to number 4, approve special meeting minutes of Tuesday, March 26th, 2024.
I'll make the motion to approve special meeting minutes of Tuesday, March 26th, 2024.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. Moving on to public input. Do you have any public input?
Yeah, Tom Roy, I'm just curious, is there a park board established for Alcester, or does the council take care of the park, or is there anybody on the council that represents the board?
I'm chairman of the park. We each have an area, but right now we're in the process of, what would you call it?
Updates and we're trying to get a group together that is going to kind of be separate from the city council
Gotcha.
to kind of bring in some new equipment, update some maybe campsite parking spots. We need to do some fundraising for different
Sure.
things that need to be done.
Okay,
So-
no, that's good.
Is there something you need?
No, just wanted to know who
Yeah.
was in charge, so now I know who to chat with.
There's 3 of us. I think me and Kendra,
Am I on that too or not?
Gary, and Karen. Yeah,
And then
so us 3 are on that.
Okay.
So that's all.
The next meeting for the park volunteer
Yep,
committee is gonna be April 25th, end of this month.
25th, where is that?
It'll be right here.
Okay.
And we had a room full the last time,
Okay.
so.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Say that was the 25th?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's where you're at.
Any other public input? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Number 6, ordinance 2024-02, mailbox reimbursement, second reading. We did read this at the last meeting, along with, it was published in the paper here, so we just need a motion to, really, we don't need a motion on it, do we?
We've already moved it, fresh new for a second.
We'll have to make a motion to approve it. We don't need to read it.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of the ordinance 2024-02 mailbox reimbursement.
I'll second
A motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. Moving on to number 7, ordinance 2024-03, updating property maintenance code to recent version, second reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2024-03, updating property maintenance code to recent version.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 8, resolution 2024-04, U.S. Department of Transportation, Safe Streets and Roads for All grant application.
So this is just a resolution that CCOG, for all towns that agree to join that grant program that you approved, this is just a resolution.
Right. And it's in your handouts too as well, so.
Read it.
What's that? You want it read? Otherwise, you can read it to yourself. Otherwise, I can read it too. It don't matter. want me to read it? U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for All grant application. Whereas the U.S. Department of Transportation operates the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program, and where the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant programs allows for a regional safety action plan managed by eligible agencies, and the city of Alcester desires assistance from the U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for All planning and demonstration grant program for the purpose of developing a safety action plan. And the Southeastern Council of Government is an eligible planning agency that serves Clay, Lincoln, McCook, Minnehaha, Turner, and Union counties in southeast South Dakota. Now therefore be is it resolved that the city, Alcester City Council hereby commits to the support of the creation of a regional safety action plan managed by the Southeastern Council of Governments, and the city of Alcester commits to providing $2,500 in local cash matched for the project, in addition to 10.5 hours of in-kind or cash match, and provides such additional information as may be required.
So we need to make a motion. Is this the first time? Or the second?
Resolution. Austin, correct?
Yeah.
Resolutions don't have to be read a second time. It's
Just make a motion to adopt it. I will make a motion to adopt the resolution 2024-04, U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets and Roads for All grant application.
I'll second
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. The chip seal bid opening, that's at 6:30, right? So we'll move on, we'll come back to number 9. Move on to number 10, approve the new water meter project proposal.
It's included in your handouts, the same information that was there last meeting when Farrell was back on here.
Right. So I believe it's still the cheaper of the two options that we have, so.
Letter to out.
Right.
So we want to adopt it? Is that what we're talking about tonight? Or
So you had voted to approve his original proposal, but because of the change, it's just if you want to motion and vote to approve the new proposal with the number changes.
because the money was designated for that. So we really can't take that money for anything else anyway, correct?
Correct.
So I would make a motion to approve the new water meter project proposal that's been updated.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll second
A motion to a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 11, approve new code enforcement contract proposal.
So last time I presented this to you guys, Lucas and I had reached out to the South Dakota Municipal League with our current code enforcer, you know, his age and having had surgery, not knowing if and when he's gonna come back, looking for a new option. This was the one that was recommended that a lot of towns are going on board with. Centerville is the closest one that has hired this company. They'll sit down as part of the contract and go over, they'll kind of evaluate all of our current ordinances and make recommendations if there's anything they see with the current ordinances to kind of bring them up to date. And then do a kind of a review of the town, so you will, and start that process. And then the way it works is it's the retainer fee covers their costs, and if there's any If their billing is above that retainer for the calendar year that we'd be under, then that would be billed separately at that rate that's included in your proposal. Otherwise, if their billing for the calendar year is less than that $1,500 retainer, the additional remaining amount would be carried over to the next calendar year.
I don't think there's a whole lot of options either.
No,
You know,
there's not.
they was checked into quite a bit I have, and we definitely need the code enforcement, so.
There's not many around.
All right.
I seen in the municipal magazine that they had a class or something for that, so you could tell that it was,
The only other option that the municipal league had for us at this point was for me to do it.
no.
I'm glad to hear that.
You guys right now have enough on your plate.
Yep. So if we vote this in, we'll start, he'll come and meet, talk to the
Yes,
city.
I would, Lucas and I would sign the contract, send that back with the retainer, and then reach out to them to set up an appointment to sit down and review, and I'd send them the ordinances, current ordinances that we have. They would review those and then sit down with us, council, make their recommendations if they see anything that would need to be changed. The one big one that they mentioned was the property maintenance, making sure that that was up to date, which we're taking care of, getting that updated. But if there's any other ordinances, making sure that those are up to date or making any recommendations.
Oh, he does
And then
it
once they
with
would
other
do that,
cities.
then they
I
start.
mean, that's a positive, it sounds like he's up to date on city issues.
He does a decent amount of municipalities in this area.
He does.
Maybe not this area, but at least.
Centerville's his newest one, but they're getting busier as they're picking up more towns from the guys that are retiring.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the new code enforcement contract proposal.
Second.
A motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 12, approve FCS Fairgrounds easement. This was talked about quite a few months ago already.
Correct. I can speak briefly on this. So Sam was primarily taking the lead on this, so Sam talked.
Yeah, talk to you. Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. So Sam spoke with Darla about it either yesterday or today. This is the access agreement that allows the city to have, well, essentially the public to have access to the fairgrounds. So it's the east half, the east portion of that road in addition to the southern half of the west part of that road. And this gives us some assurances that they have to allow the public access to the fairground, they can't shut it off.
And this was talked about before we gave them the building permit. So where this came about again was, it has to be registered in Union County, and it's not yet. So the county agent called me and he said, Darla, we need to get this registered. So then I talked to these guys again, and it wasn't our lawyer, it wasn't FCS lawyer, it was the county lawyer that was holding it up. And it just got pushed back, and so now we're making sure it gets done. So I talked to the county agent, and I said, I don't know if we'll have it done tonight, but I guarantee you by the next meeting, we will have it, so it can be registered. So that's where the question is. And they all three have to sign it, if I understood Sam right?
Correct.
We sign it, the elevator signs it, and the county signs it. So everybody is in agreement.
Good.
And the elevator didn't, they didn't deny anything, so that was
Good.
good.
They're still on board, willing to go with it. So do we need a motion to approve this? Bingo.
I'll make a motion to approve the ingress egress easement in tract 4 railway addition in the northeast quarter of section 28, township 95 and range 49 west of the 5th PM, city of Alcester, as written in a form and manner acceptable to the city attorney.
Perfect.
A motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. Moving on to 13, city logo vote.
So in your packet, there are 3 submissions by the public, and then the 4th page would be the ones that Julia presented initially. And I have them marked with, what I did is I put these out kind of around the town, and I sent that out to the community, asking them to either submit their own or vote for one of the 4. So I put on there which, how many votes each one of those that received, just to kind of give you an idea of what came from. Any questions on those? The third one, she apologized that it was a rough sketch. You should be able to get the basic concept of, pheasant in front of the A for Alcester, with small town constraints. And I just leave it up for you guys to make the final decision.
I wonder if now, like, that we have any submissions, we should put it back out for like a vote again and add those in.
Totally up to you guys.
We could put it on the website or Facebook too, that way people want to. I mean, I don't think there was a huge interest in
No,
that.
probably not.
I like the simplicity of the 2 that were submitted. I like this one. I think it would go nice, be easy to put on anything that you needed to put it on.
Of those 2, I like the first one better just because it's a little bit lighter.
I don't know which one.
This one?
The non-black one.
Yeah, that's my favorite
A
too.
little bit lighter in color.
One thing I wish it had was the water tower.
I know, that's what I wish it had.
Do you know who made it? Would they be willing, do you think, to? Do you think we could add the water tower?
I can send it to Julia if you want to add the water tower stuff to it, is that?
Yeah, so would we just want to take out the whole farm scene and put like the water tower with something
No, I like it, just add the water tower.
into the farm though?
Put it to the side, maybe,
Off the side, yeah.
behind the evergreens. It gives the rural picture plus town.
Yeah,
Could have it off to the side too, maybe as like a separate thing.
like next to the trees.
Yeah, I can mess around with it. What program did you make it in?
I made that in Canada.
Perfect.
Do you want me to send you the PNG or the JPEG or?
It don't matter, or I can give you my email and send you the Canva file too if you want, or whatever's easiest.
Okay.
Or even like making your city, like a smaller thing.
Yeah, you can look in. I'll do a couple of them and I'll do one where I just set it to the side and then I'll try that too.
I guess if anybody else has any, I just really like that one.
I like.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
This water tower.
To work on that and bring it for the next one.
Perfect, can you?
If you'd like to make a couple of people happy, a person could also along the bottom or somewhere put a small town dreams, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever works.
The only reason I think a lot of them say the small town charter thing is because that's what it says on the signs.
Coming into town.
Well, any other discussion in regards to the logo vote? The city logo, I should say. If not, we'll move on, I guess. Moving on to city office discussion. I am done giving my opinion on this. I have been harassed multiple times. You guys can do what you want to do.
I'm gonna throw it out there for you guys for your consideration. I didn't get the report back in time to put it on the agenda for you guys to look at this meeting, but it's supposed to be back to next week. For the next meeting is the inspection for the water tower. Water tower is going to need significant repairs immediately. The total cost of everything that needs to be repaired, the rough estimate he gave me without putting all the numbers in place was gonna be roughly $250,000. So, just to take that into consideration of where that money's gonna come from, if putting money into another building, either the golf course or downtown, I know it would keep us here and keep us paying a rent, but that's cheaper than putting a ton of money into one of the other two buildings. But it's ultimately to our decision. I just wanted to put that out for you guys to consider, because I don't know exactly what the numbers are gonna look like, but it was gonna be roughly in that time frame. But he's gonna be here at the next meeting to talk to you guys about that.
I'm not saying the old golf course doesn't obviously need the work, but how much do we have to put into it right away to make it functional? I haven't been to that one.
Plumbing issue needs work, AC and heater sketchy. The AC does not work at all. The rest of the utilities, Pat briefly looked at the phone and internet lines. He thinks they might work. As far as the rest of the building, I don't know. I mean, it would need some work. Cost-wise, I don't know how much, but it doesn't look nice.
Regardless if you move the city office there or not, you're gonna have to do something with the building. We're sending out notices to people who are breaking ordinances. That building is an eyesore and it needs to be fixed. So if you're not gonna fix it, get it up and get it gone.
Were people upset to you about moving or not?
Moving.
They don't think we should move?
A couple of my ideas were all stupid, I thought. So, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna say the city of Illinois.
No matter what you're doing, you're gonna have some people that are happy with anyway.
Yeah.
Where my concern is starting to kind of be is storage. So we take that away. Is there a way we can improve it eventually and have a place for storage? Because it seems like that's what I'm hearing at the meetings I've been at, there's no place to put it. To buy a new metal shed is gonna be costly too. For example, they stored all the golf course furniture in the golf shed. And it worked, but it's gonna be a little issues here coming up to get it out of there, get it back up on deck. If you had some place you could put it like that, it wouldn't be quite as urgent, maybe. But that was one of the things brought up at the golf course meeting. There's not storage. And I don't know what's in that shed behind it either. I have no idea. Is there?
That's all the golf course maintenance equipment.
That'll pick up all the sprinkler heads in there and stuff.
sprinkler heads will be kept at city shop. They were
They were there already.
inside the old clubhouse because it's heated,
Oh,
and they work on in the winter time.
Gotcha.
And it was, everything is transferred over to the city shop now,
gotcha.
so.
I mean, I'd hate to tear down a building because it's a lot more expensive to build it.
Nowadays.
Yeah. I think we really have to see where we can get that much money from them to pay for the water tower, because we have to fix. It's not something we can really get around, because if that valve breaks, the whole
We're in
water
trouble.
goes
Yeah.
out. The whole town is about water.
It's one of those things like a furnace, you don't have a choice.
His words to me were the repair cost would be roughly that much, but if it would get let go any longer and we'd have to replace the tower, you're looking at roughly $1.5 million plus to replace the whole tower.
How frequently do you have to replace the water tower?
What they've told me was properly maintained, those towers should last, his words were indefinitely if maintained properly at the right intervals.
Since ours has not been
Correct.
maintained properly, does it?
This is what happens when you don't inspect it every other year and like every 5 years like it was.
I looked it up the other day just because I was curious, and the average water tower lifespan, from what it said online, is 45 years. 40 years. That said online. That seems kind of short to me, so I don't know.
But like I said, we'll see what he has, what he has to say, but I wanted you to have that information during this discussion, because I don't know exactly what he's going to present to you next time.
I guess my opinion is wait till we see that and figure out where that money's gonna come from.
In regards to the city office, I mean, it's a 6-month lease, and then after that, it's month to month, so you don't have to make no big decisions. Just go with it, let it ride.
Yeah, I feel like right now we just have to, because we don't. Unless somebody else knows where we can pull more money from to fix the building. I think it just has to wait for that.
Anything else in regards to the discussion of the city office? If not, we can move on to number 15, Fair Board update, or we go and open up the chip seal bid. Want to get that done with? It's not quite 6:30, so 2 minutes.
Wait until 6:30.
Right? Let's just go ahead and get the Fair Board update out of the way.
Went to the Fair Board last week. One of the biggest issues, what we voted on earlier, was the easements, so we've taken care of that. The fair will be August 1st through 3rd. They're trying to have a lot of things. The tractor pull, they tried to pull back, so it was during the fair and not on Sunday, but they cannot get the trailer, what do you call it, sleds. So it's the hope that next year they will get it back during the fair. They are gonna have the rodeo again. We're gonna try it again this year. It was a lot of money to buy insurance, but insurance saved their neck, because we got money for the rodeo last year because we couldn't have it. And they said we will never go without that again. We got good amount, settlement from the rain. I don't know, have you ever heard any more about the water down there? I know they're putting in some new hydrants and stuff. If they've ever found the leak, or did they find it when the city came across? I've never heard anything.
Dan Waterman moved the curb stop shortly after I started, but
Right.
nobody's ever mentioned the leak to me.
I did hear them discussing, and that, I just got there when they were discussing it, that the curb stop and something else needs to be flagged higher so people see it. So I'll maybe talk with them or if the directors. I didn't know exactly what they meant by that, but is it too low so people aren't seeing it, that it can get run over by trucks, is what I'm wondering. But probably as far as our concern is, yes, they would like us all to be a part of it. But they asked, Aaron Larson was at the meeting and asked if the concern for him is that it's so dusty down on that far road. If we could possibly have the firemen water it down 2 or 3 times during the day for both the tractor pull and the rodeo. So then the county agent brought up that maybe they could spray it, they spray something on it, and he was gonna look into it for the county. And I talked to him the other day and he said, we're not doing it. It's $1,500 to $2,000 for 3 days. It's not worth that. Water would be much better thing to do. So that's probably what will be done there. Other than that, not too much more at the fair. It was a very good meeting. So that's, just keep it in mind to be a part of it. They're gonna have a cornhole tournament, possibly this year. Besides, they're talking of a street dance with the Kaiser girls singing at it right down at the fairgrounds. Arlo Lickens Band will be down there. So there'll be several things they're trying to get to go. So that's kind of the fair board. But the street that goes through the fairgrounds to the west is ours, our responsibility. If you happen to drive by down there, you better look at that street. We're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to do gravel or something. It's a muddy mess. And that, the elevator keeps saying back to us, that's your street. So, I don't know.
On the north side there where
It's
Clark,
If you go-
Clark Street, first street on the south side.
If
of
you
the
go
road.
straight down from the bank,
Yeah.
all the way to that corner, down at the bottom, that street at the bottom is the city's. So we're gonna have to put gravel or something on it. I don't know. To me, the elevator's the one that's messed it up, but I don't know where that falls. It still falls under us, right?
Unfortunately, it's public right of way.
Yeah, yeah. So that will be something that will have to be looked at down there.
Just even at the $20,000 plus back from what we invested into the road where the scale is at.
Yeah.
That'll go a long way since we did rock. Anyway, we'll definitely have to take care of that, so.
And they are, they're starting a project where they're going to start planting some trees down there, because a lot of the trees are elm, and they're gonna be losing them. And so they're going to spend $2,300 in trees this year. So, to start replacing some down there. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Darla. Anything else in regards to the fair board? No? If not, we will open up the sealed bids for the chip seal. The first bid will be from the road guy.
What it is, how much it is.
So, the first bid is, the name of the bidder is the Road Guy Construction. Their location is out of Yankton, South Dakota. Seal coat material and labor using granite chip per square yard would be $1.99. So, how many,
20,000 square yards.
20,000 square? And of course, the bid bond is in with their bid form. And so, I guess that's the first one. They don't really give any other information. I mean, I can pass it around if you like. Or is there something else, Austin, that I should be informed on?
I'll make a look.
That's,
That's the bottom.
yeah, that's the bid bond.
Bid bond,
And that's the chip seal.
no.
That's just the bid.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
And that's who we got before, correct?
Okay.
Do a lot, because they do Highway 11
Right.
every other year.
Both of these companies have been working town.
Oh, they have.
So this bid form is from Top Coat, and of course, their bond is also in their copy of the bond, and the certificate of liability insurance is in with it, and seal coat material and labor using granite chips per square yard would be $2.73. So,
So now the council has two decisions. You can either accept the lower bid, so the road guy construction at $1.99, or else you can choose to reject it all and rebid it out.
They've already done, so
We just got the other one just today. so
that's a difference too.
That's a lot of difference.
It's for like 40 grand compared to something.
right.
What do we have budgeted for it?
And Top Coat is out of Yankton as well.
Now, would that be all funds that we have for any kind of road work?
There's some other repair and maintenance in there, but that was the main one for this year.
Well, I mean,
It will take away from the asphalt, if that's what you're asking, yes. If they are together, asphalt and chip sealing, because the goal is to do the majority of the work for asphalt one year and then chip seal the next year and just do the little patches that might need it.
Right.
And then, every other year. So, if there were any like major things that like needed to be repaired, we would have some money still, but not to the extent that we did last year. And last year, people still complained about the holes in the road, so.
Last year, we did take some of the money and bought street equipment,
Correct.
the paver and the roller, so they gave us an allowance of about 30,000 something, or give or take. for
Yeah.
that. But it's always nice to see every year doing a little bit of both. For sure, the chip seal, we should try to do that every year, or we put it off too long when we haven't been doing it enough. And Lonnie and I have talked over the years about trying to slurry seal. It's a little bit thicker, might get a little bit more out of it on the streets that are in tougher condition. We haven't tried it yet, we haven't looked into it, but I definitely think we need chip seal.
Yeah. Another thing just to keep in the back of the minds is the Beck Drive, what we're gonna have to do with that. Since that road needs to be redone, since Although officer Bob?
I have had 3 other people contact me this week wanting to build here in town. There's nothing of it available. So, and one of them is a very young family, 2 very young families. So, that's off the subject. So anyway, we have to go back to, if you'd like to award one of the companies or reject them both, or what you would like to do.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid from the road guy for chip sealing.
I'll second
Okay, you have a motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right. All right, moving on to the golf course update. Darla, do you have an update for us?
Yep, we had, well, there is a golf course committee that we meet with, and just so you know who they are, Dave Larson always meets. John Dunlap and Wayne Oberhauser are the men's league. Milt Weiland is an older gentleman that's been a part of the golf course. He's at the meeting, Landon's at the meeting for the community center. Lonnie's there because he's been doing the golf course. And then both Katie Manning and Tanya Summervald are the women's league. So that's who's at the meeting. We did not have a spring meeting because they were so happy with the way the golf course went last year. The way it looked, the way everything ran. So we moved it up and just had, or the fall meeting, we had just the spring one. Discussing it with them, the one thing that we are going to add that had not been done was a box for early morning golfers to be, if it's not open yet, where they could pay. Some don't think people would pay anyway, but we're gonna, Katie Manning had a good point. She said, I pay no matter where I go. So they are going to put a box, they were gonna find someone to make a box, and it's going to be put in the back by the deck steps. And Lonnie specifically said he does not want it to look junky. So they're gonna work on, even if it costs a little bit, to put a nice box there. Other than that, fertilizer will be donated again for membership. So that's a good thing, and that was a plus last year. The biggest complaint is the bathroom on the golf course. And Lonnie, they've been trying to work on it, putting a filter in because I don't golf, so I don't go down there. But the water pressure comes from the pond that's down there. And silt from the pond, if I understand right, gets into there and it's very, very slow. So it just kind of sits there. So they have put some kind of screen on the pond, some pipe to try to see if they can skim off a little bit more residue from the pond to make it work better. But they say when we have tournaments and when it's a busy weekend, we really need another bathroom. So they would like to see a porta potty put down way down on the corner by the highway. I don't know what hole that is now. And possibly one up by the old clubhouse. So we discussed getting some bids, so he did get bids. And for 2 porta potties a month. For out of Brandon, it's $387 a month. Out of, what's this one from? Yeah, that's the Brandon one. A1 porta potties is $429, and this is for 28 days. That's what they give you, 28 days. And there was one more, and that was about the same. Yeah. So they're right around $400 a month.
But they want one on the northwest corner.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you see when you drive into town?
They could probably put it back behind where the golf course, golf should be.
Now, if you're putting it on the northwest corner, that's tee box for
Oh,
hole.
down there,
So
yeah.
that'd be the tee box for hole 6.
Yeah.
You can, there's a tree right there by the tee box, you can put it on the east side of, it's gonna be close to the tee box, it'll hide it a little bit. Most of the summer, it's gonna be hidden by the crops. It's,
Well, and they also, I'll have to check with Landon for sure, because Doug looked at these too, and he said, but the one doesn't say that they will service it every week or, and you'd want it serviced, and if it's down there, they could come in off that driveway and service it versus going. I don't know. But that is the one thing that they asked, and I said I'd bring it to the council. That is one thing that they asked.
What's your opinion?
So they provide it and they provide, so you said the one, they'll provide it, but they won't come out and,
It doesn't say that, so that's the cheaper one.
that's a lot of money for 30 days if they're not gonna service it.
And they would like it for 3 months.
What's it cost to buy a porta potty except someone come pump it up? Because if it's something we're gonna use, there's no sense paying rent on it year after year after year.
Do you want me to tell Landon to look that up? Buy one?
I'm just curious as to how much it costs, because if it's not ridiculous, and we can get someone to come out and pump it.
Yeah, I agree. And for 3 months, it does add up, but also our golf memberships have really increased. In fact, they have a meeting tonight, men's league. We have 30 teams right now, the most we've ever had. And in fact, he had to decline a 31 at this time, so they're discussing tonight if they're gonna have 2 nights of men's league. So that's good, and the lady said theirs has gotten better too. I don't know, has it recently?
It's about $800.
Really?
For like the really cheap ones. The like fancy,
You got-
deluxe ones
you
that are
gotta
like
be
2
fancy.
grand. But that's just to buy it. I don't know
So
how
I'm
much
curious,
it
for
is
these
to
bathrooms, is it just the women's that really want it?
People use it for getting out
Well,
as fast as you
this
can.
is how they told it to me. The men use trees. Women do not.
But some of them do.
So,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
and that was their biggest complaint too, is supplies are not kept in the
You got a guy
bathrooms.
standing there with a towel.
Tournaments and golfing, so that's something we discussed with Landon. It's gotta be checked.
Can I give you an opinion?
Yeah.
So, as a golf course person, I can tell you that, like with the problems with the existing bathroom on the golf course, there was numerous times that we went in it last year and the water is up like sea level. So none of us wanted to use that, and then like sporadically placing them where they want them placed just makes sense for like the flow of things. Like especially if you're in a tournament, because then you don't have to run all the way back to the clubhouse. Sometimes they were able to open up the old clubhouse to use for the bathroom, but with the plumbing issues there, that wasn't always a good deal either. So I guess I would say getting a porta
You
potty
need
and
something.
having somebody that would empty it would be the good way to go.
So, pump is supplying the water to that right now, they're obviously using a transfer pump of some kind. Is there no sediment filter aside from this screen on the end of the tube that's going into the water?
That's a lot of questions, I don't know.
This has been an ongoing issue.
Put a sediment, like a dual sock sediment filter on that thing, that would solve 99% of the problem right there. And they're not expensive at all.
They did add a filter though, right? Something. They did do something to it recently, but it went over my head. that. I didn't know if they did.
Yeah, they did, he was, it kind of was over my head too.
Yeah.
What I thought I heard was like they took a screen and a rubber band, put it over the intake pipe.
They just purchased a bunch of stuff, I just don't know exactly
Okay.
what they
Yeah,
did
what
to
type.
it. And with it this being this early in the season, it's hard to
And I
tell
think
how
there
much
is
the
some
repairs.
issues with that, anyway, that they're trying to baby along so we don't get into a whole lot more. So, maybe, should I ask Lonnie to look into purchasing one, and then the next meeting we can talk about it?
Can I have another opinion?
Sure.
She makes a good point, you know, when you have more people, you're gonna have more income, and you're gonna have more people using the restrooms. And having it simply done where you keep that atmosphere going on a simple basis to rent something is very simple. Have them maintain it, because you wanna own something, now you have your own maintenance again, which is gonna add up the cost. It just comes down to how do you keep that atmosphere going on a real simple basis.
And I have one more thing too, like with the cost, you know, a couple's membership, like Dave and I's membership is what, $450? So that's literally like a whole month right there, if not plus them. So there's obviously more than 3 couples purchasing memberships, so,
Right. And we're getting more.
right. So I think it kind of crosses itself out, you know.
What was the dollar amount on the lower price one?
387.
The only other thing is, and I was gonna talk to Dave anyway, they are having, they always clean the golf shed, take everything out of the golf shed, spray clean it, or power wash it out, and they said it's very dirty this year. And that is going to be April 27th at 10 a.m. And we'll have to put it on our webpage, we'll have to put it on that, to make them aware they would like people to have their carts out of the shed, and if they can't, they will need permission to move their carts then. So, I don't know how that works, but that is April 27th at 10 a.m. It's a Saturday. And we discussed, they were thankful for 2 more golf carts. They said Beersford has leased 30 carts this year, 30 carts for their golf course, and you can hardly find carts. They're hard to find. So, because they were wondering if we could maybe get some more, but they said you can't even find them. So, they're hard to find.
So we only bought 2 more instead of 4? Is that what we're buying 4?
No, one was gonna be the lease that we do every year, and then there was supposed to be 3 more. But,
I said 2, but.
huh?
Well, we got the, what you call it, Ranger, and then that's releasing 1. I know for sure we got 2 more.
And I think it was just based off of price, if they could, because Pat had found those 3 for that price, but if they didn't get them at that time, it was just a budget, so like what they could get for the price. So if there was like a price increase, they might have only got 2.
And then I presented them with the rules. And the rules, and I was so thankful for a couple of them because they said, get the rules out and read them, and if you don't agree with them, you say right now. So, no one said a word. The only complaint I had from the staff at the golf course is the young kids that are still thinking they can drive the cart out there. And right as I was talking to Kelsey, a 14-year-old drives a cart right across the golf course, and she went out the door and said, get off. You've been told. So what I did on the back of your rule sheet, and I showed it to Lanny and Kelsey, they need something that they can stand on up to parents. This is the exact same rules as a swimming pool. And so no one can say we're not being fair. I spoke at the meeting, I said Canton has now raised their age to drive a cart for someone under 16 to age 18. because they're having so much trouble with kids tearing around. So they can still ride it with their parent, but this will give them something to stand on to parents. So it'll be just like the swimming pool, they'll get written up, they have to take it home, and they have to have their parents sign it if they have been warned and it's their second warning. So does that sound okay with you guys? The board was fine with it. So this will be discussed tonight at the golf league meeting, and when they get a membership, each one will be given the rules, just like the swimming pool. So if you get any scuff from anybody, that's where it all came from. Like we said, we want kids to want to golf. That's not the point, it's the destruction on the golf cart that's the issue, so. That's how we're gonna solve it.
And in that list of the, sorry, back to the porta potties, there was another bid in there for $225 a month, or 28 days. And it does say that they're servicing once a week.
Oh, there was one in there?
Yeah.
I just got those right before I came.
And the name of the company is Porta Potty Dogs, but,
Yeah, that's
I
the
mean,
first one.
that seems a lot more reasonable.
Does it say it will service it?
Yep, once a
Once
week.
a week. That's not bad.
And it's a
$225?
Yeah. and
For
50
28 days, right?
Yeah.
A1 was what, 425?
420, yeah. With a $50 set fee, which I think is fair. Good.
What was the name of it?
Porta Potty Dogs.
And golf course is having a tournament, 1st of June, and it is for improvements.
8th of June.
Yeah,
The 8th.
improvements, the money raised will go through it for improvements in the golf course, so I think that's exciting. Alcoda has also donated distance markers for advertising, so that's a positive. So, I just talked to someone before I came tonight, and they said their business is possibly interested in doing some kind of markers. So, I mean, if we get some of this, that's great.
The only thing is the other two directly state how many the quantity is, this one does not. So if this is only for one, then it's most expensive. But the others don't say what the servicing is.
Maybe we should clarify on all that.
But,
I'll clarify for the next meeting.
yeah.
That way we can actually compare apples to apples, which one go.
Yeah, and Lacey says that there's only a delivery fee of like one time, but then for A1, it says one-time mileage, but if that would be weekly mileage to then service it, it'd be just something to. If it's needed, it's needed.
And to me, that was the only concern was bathrooms.
Well, it sounds like you guys have to do something, so let's just get all the information out there and see which one really is cheapest by the time we got all the details.
I'll find out, I'll have them find out for the next one, for sure.
Any other discussion in regards to it? If not, we'll move on. Number 17, swimming pool. Approval to hire Noah Schroeder as WSI pool co-manager at $14 per hour.
So he did finally get back to me. It was too late to get him on the agenda for the last meeting. He's worked with his sister the last 3 years. His sister's Sarah that voted on last month to be the manager. He does want to come back. He's willing to work pretty much any hours that we need him. So he still has his WSI, so that would put us at 5 water safety instructors. So we would have more than enough for swimming lessons. So,
And he was okay to do it with his sister?
yep,
Okay,
yep. He's the one that brought it up.
okay.
So.
Well, I'll
I
make
mean,
a
it's not
motion.
gonna increase or decrease the amount of hours. I mean, everybody's aware that, you know, the more we have, the fewer hours everybody's gonna get, because there's only so many hours to go around.
Right. I'll make a motion to approve to hire Noah Schroeder as WSI pool co-manager at $14 an hour.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Moving on to number 18, finance office updates.
I have a question for
Yep.
the pool. Did they do the lining?
He has not done a pressure test yet because of the weather last week and he's looking at either Thursday or Friday this week, hopefully. So I'm hoping to have a report for you at the next meeting for that.
Sorry, continue.
No worries, thank you. Moving on to number 18, finance office updates.
That's all I got is warrants.
I guess, any other updates that Alderman have in regards to the city? We do have, you coming back for another term, so we will have another ward, seat open for ward, and we will have a mayor seat open after one more meeting, so talk to your friends or try to find somebody to be able to get 2 more seats filled. So, anything else?
Do want to say that I have heard nothing but good. A lot of it goes to Dave. The bingo has been a terrific success for the clubhouse. I mean, their Friday nights have been, Landon told me 2 weeks ago, they did about $3,500 a day. And it's because of bingo. People, thank you. I want you to know that. He does a really good job. So now it goes to trivia, which I'm not sure how that all will
It's
we'll
gonna
find out.
be a good time.
We thank you, David. Anything else in regards to the finance updates? Otherwise, we need a motion to approve March 2024 warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 2024 warrants.
Okay? Brian made the motion.
I'll second it.
Carrie second. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed. Moving on. Number 19, executive session pursuant to SDCL 1-25-2, if needed.
I'll make a motion to enter an executive session pursuant to SDCL 125-23.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We are in at 7:03 p.m. We are out of executive session at 7:21 p.m. Moving on, I need a motion to adjourn council.
I'll make a motion to adjourn council.
Who second? A motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We adjourn council at 7:22 p.m.